you are now about to witness.
Hey everybody, welcome to Off the Bench Magazine. I am the editor-in-chief. I am Mark Wiggins, your host tonight. And boy, do I got something good for you tonight. Lord have mercy. Listen, it pays to go out and be active and engaged. Get off the bench, and you never know who you may meet, who you run into. I'll talk about my special guest in a moment. But first things first, I want to remind everybody to make sure you subscribe to the magazine. Go to offthebenchmagazine.com and make sure you don't miss an issue there. It is a free subscription. Go there and log on and make sure you just subscribe. You'll also get my Woke Wednesday message that goes out every Wednesday for about 2.5 minutes of some hot drama heat for you to stay motivated. We do have special guests this year. I'm sharing my platform for those people who want to get their message out there and work on their practice and get off their bench. This is a place for you. If you're a writer or want to be in a magazine or a published author, hit me in the inbox and we'll get you into the magazine because that's what's happening right now. Also, make sure you subscribe to the podcast, whether you're on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Off the Bench with Mark Wiggins. And you can find me there, catch these current shows, other shows, and things I've been doing there for a long, long time. A lot of good interviews along the way. Got some lot of high client assets that I've been speaking to, and tonight adds to my list. Yes. Also, the podcast has been syndicated on Global Hits Radio, the internet radio station. I think they're based out of Atlanta. Tune into them, hear all the great other shows. I come on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 5:30, and you can catch my podcast and then listen to some great music. There's a lot of other good stuff that you can do on that station. Please go check them, support them out as they support me and my platform. Lastly, we have the Extreme Effort Business Conference on June 22nd here in the Tysons Corner area, Tysons Corner, Virginia. We are logging in people now, getting registrations in. We're also going to have a virtual ticket as well. So wherever you are, you can be a part of this great conference. I've got speakers from Nashville, from Cleveland, from the Carolinas, from Maryland. Everybody going to be in the house. And of course, yours truly will bring the fire and the heat as always. So that being said, listen, I'm a fanboy. And one of my favorite shows is anything that Chef Ramsay has on. Don't care what. I watched the little kids cook-off thing the other day. I was like, oh, this is so cute. Look at these children in two in here making flambe and whatever. I'm like, how they reached the stove. But the Hell's Kitchen, of course, is one of the bigger hits. And now with the restaurants up, now I have been to Hell's Kitchen in DC a couple of times. My goal is to get to the Hell's Kitchen in Las Vegas, but that's a whole nother story. But in the Hell's Kitchen, they have these chefs that come on and they compete. They going at it. And I was out at the Zeta Phi Beta sorority had their Founders Day event here in Alexandria, Virginia. And I walk around, see what's going on. I have my Kappa gear on, looking fresh, and all the Sigmas walking around, whatever. Love them too. It's all good. And I cut the corner and they saw the food. And I said, this is amazing. And then I saw the person. I go, yeah, I heard her voice. I go, why I feel like I know you? she said, I don't know, but I am coming to the stage. Chef Atoye Johnson. Chef, how are you?
I am well. Well, let me get a correction here because I done got married since the show. So I am Atoye Wallace. Johnson is no more. When I was actually on the show, we were engaged. So we are now married a year later and happy. So thank you for having me. How are you?
I'm great, Chef. I am great. So happy and so fortunate to run into you. Your energy was ridiculously off the chain. And how long have you been working with Zed? You made a comment in the open mic session about how they knew you before you blew up. How long have you been working with them?
I've been working with them for it's over 5 to 6 years now. So they've been I've been through the family, and then it kind of like we went to, I think it was a Shriners event, because they are all along with my family, but the Shriners events, and then it was one event that I did, and it kind of catapulted, and it was amazing for me because as a chef, to be able to have a tenured with an organization for so
Mhm.
long, they knew me before Hell's Kitchen. They knew me before everything. And to be able to continue to, this is actually my second year doing this event for them. My husband and I did it last year as well, but we've also done smaller events for them too. So it's a huge thing with their board. They look for a lot of different chefs, but literally now on Sunday was like, hey, you are a preferred vendor. And it was just like, wow, I prefer
Oh,
chef.
wow.
It was amazing because they said that last year, but this year kind of like catapulted everything. So it's amazing for me. It's still surreal. My husband and I talk about it all the time. I know I walk the walk, but
Mhm.
it's still overwhelming. I did that show almost 2 years ago, and for to see it now, because every time you guys see it on TV, we're living that moment with you. We lived it in real life for 24 hours, so we didn't get to
Mhm.
see the edits and everything else afterwards.
Oh, wow.
We just went home, so we had to hold that secret for 2 years.
Wow.
February 1st would be 2 years that we had
Mhm.
to hold that secret until the show came out. And then when the show came on, and every week we're living those moments, we're reliving those moments with you guys. So to
Mm.
relive those moments and to, listen to what the world has to say, it's just like, okay, whatever. But you just don't understand the severity of everything that we went through. So I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna stop so you can ask your questions because I know you have questions.
Girl, I got questions. Oh my god! Oh my god! I forgot to get you to sign my sweater. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, what I
Trust
what
me, you'll see more of me.
I'm sure I will. I'm traveling now. I'm on the road, and that's great. So before we get too far off into the show, I told you I don't do bios because I think I do
Yes.
people. It doesn't injustice to read something when you may want to share something. So tell us about Atoye before the chef and who you are and where you're trying to get to.
So yes, my name. So originally, I was born and raised Ashley Atoye Johnson, and as I grew up, I born and raised in DC, Southeast
Mm.
DC. In fact, my dad lived in Northeast, so it was the battle of the Southeast Northeast. But being in that era, I went to high school in Maryland. That was actually my first public school. I went to Duval High School. And when I was there, I just knew that I wanted to do more. I didn't know what I actually wanted to do after high school, but I knew there was more for me out there. So I was just trying to figure it out. And my family cooked. I was always in the kitchen with my grandmother. My dad's side of the family was very diverse with cooking. Caribbean was everything for us, especially my dad's side. So,
Mhm.
deep diving into that, it was just like, oh my God, food is love. You know what I'm saying? So it was the diverse of my mom's side of the family. My grandmother cooked everything, but everything was southern. Everything was the same all the time. And I love that because I got in the kitchen with her. But my father's side of the family, it was, I'm not saying it was total poverty, but they understood the meaning of love and family because they did it through food. And I didn't really get that with my mom's side of the family because everybody had everything. So it's just like my grandmother, my grandfather, they had the greater things in life. So they gave it to their children. But when I would go to my father's side of the family, they went through drugs, and it was, I mean, I'm not ashamed about it. They went through
Mhm.
drugs, alcoholism, all that. So for me, my father was locked up for 9 years of my life, so I really didn't get a lot with my dad. But was my dad is the reason why I go so hard.
Mm.
Okay, so it's just like from being from Jamaica and understanding the love and the passion that he has, it's just like, know that there was a struggle, but then also know that but there's passion. My father loved to cook. So my father passed away 12 years ago, but all of his family passed away. And it was like 2 years apart. So I had to go through a lot, and I'm editing it a little bit, but it was a lot of physical and mental. So I just knew that I had to get to something that's going to fuel my fire, and it was cooking. So I went to culinary school, and I was like, I can seriously make good money and going to culinary school, and I did. I just kept going. Um, I was when my dad passed away. I was pregnant with my first daughter, and she's now about to be 12, and I never gave up. And to be in the industry with a young daughter, first of all, and then I found out literally a year and a half later I was pregnant again. I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? Am I going to keep this dream going? What am I doing? I got 2 young kids. I got a dream of being a chef. I did not complete culinary school because of my father passing away. So it was just like, okay, what are we going to do here? So I kept going. I kept pushing. And my dad was literally that driving force to say, do not give up. And it's been hard. I mean, it's this year will be what, 21 years? And it's been very, very hard to keep it that way because I actually fell in the trap of being an entrepreneur and working full time. And I say that to say because I had a dream, but I also know I had kids in reality, and I knew that I still have to feed my kids. And I was a single mother at the time. So knowing that I have 2 children under the age of 3, trying to make a dream come true, but knowing that you have that dream, you can't put that dream on somebody else, and nobody has that vision but you. So I kept it going, and I've done a lot in that time. And not only do I have background service, back of the house service, but I was also a full general manager of a restaurant before I went to Hell's Kitchen. So when Hell's Kitchen reached out to me, I was actually an operations manager at City Winery in DC. So
Oh wow.
not only has God transformed my life, but not understanding that the journey that God put me on, when you are an entrepreneur, you are all hats. You have to realize you wear all hats as an entrepreneur. So I knew the journey that I was going down, but I didn't know why I was going down that way. And the jobs that I was getting and the opportunities I was getting, I didn't realize what God was putting me. So he was putting me in preparation to owning my own business. So I was still working full time, and I was working all the time, but I was still battling. Can you be an entrepreneur? No, because it's risky. You got 2 children. You need a check every day. This
Right.
entrepreneur
Right.
life is not where it's at, and I'm still cooking. So what did I do is the way Chef Atoye came is it's my middle name. And my mother at the time when I was when I was born, before I was born, she told me there was a friend of hers that worked at the Pentagon with her, and that was a really good friend of hers. So the name is Atoye in Swahili. So she made me Atoye. And I was like, Ashley Johnson is just so generic. Like that can't be a chef. Like that's just too generic for me. I don't want to be Chef Ashley. It's 1,000 Ashleys in the world. There's a billion Ashley Johnsons in the world. So I was like, no, I cannot do this. So I dropped all that and I was Chef Atoye. So when I started, actually COVID, people knew me prior to COVID, but COVID was where it was really like, oh my God, let me just be all in with Chef Atoye. And that's what I did because I was actually let go of a job. And I was like, you know what? COVID happened. My mother was pre-diagnosed with coronavirus in 2019. So it was trying to understand what was going on. Like life was just lifing at the time. So when I realized that, I was like, wait, I have a platform and I got to use it. And I had this dream. I said, I want to bring private dining to people's homes. I want to do this. And I said, I have to use the platform. So I was already working full time and still cooking for people. So you talking about Team No Sleep? That was who I was. It was no sleep. I got babies. My mother was babysitting. She was actually the primary babysitter for the first 7 years of their life because I was just working. And Atoye was birthed. Atoye was birthed prior to, but COVID is where I really catapulted my name and who I was, because with so many different organizations, and then I was with the Shriners, and then I was with Zeta Phi Beta, and then I was with the Kappas. Like, I did so many different events, and then my cousin was a part of also Omega Psi Phi and down in North Carolina. And so, like, my name was getting out there, and I was like, okay, I like this. So that's when you do a good service and you have great hospitality. That's why I've been so lucrative and so great in the business, because I've given that to them over the years. So when I had the opportunity, when Hell's Kitchen reached out to me in 2021 in November, through my DMs. They literally slid through my DMs and asked me a question. And I was like, wait, what? And I'm in my head, I'm like, I'm working at City Winery as an operations manager. Yeah, I got food and stuff on my what's name, but they had did a real thorough search before they even slid in my DMs. So I can truly say that through my life and where I am now has been a true blessing. And I'm not going to go into all of that because I know you have more questions, but trust and believe, prior to Hell's Kitchen, I'm knee deep, 20 some years, knee deep in cooking. So
Now, you know, they say it takes you 20-something years to be an overnight success, right? All that grinding, all that learning, all of the the ups and downs that you got to go through to prepare you to be this thing. So when you show up and someone, well, let me phrase it, you're there when someone becomes aware of you. And I think one of the, as a speaker, one of the things I was taught is that you want other people to say that you're the professional. You don't want to say I'm a professional. Your works, your hustle, your deeds, your results should say to someone else that you indeed are the professional by your way you work. And that's probably, you know, you were grinding on that when you showed up wherever you was. It was you're the professional. So so talk to me about so you reach out to you and you recognize that it wasn't a scam, they weren't trying to get you. And then what happens next? How did the rest of the trials go, or were there any trials?
So the thing was, it was literally a DM, and at the time, my husband now, him and I have met at City Winery, and we had both caught COVID. And in December, I was like, in November when it all happened, I was talking to him and I was like, well, they just asked me to apply. So I applied. And I was like, okay, I watched Hell's Kitchen. So let me go back a little bit, because my Hell's Kitchen goes back a little bit, because in 2011, I applied for Hell's Kitchen, and it was later into 2012. And I'm sorry, no, it was the end of 2011 because my dad had passed away. So I could not go back and fully go through the tryouts and the application and finishing of the application process and the interviews, because my father had passed away. So at that moment in 2011, I was like, okay, I can't do this. My dad has passed. It was just too much for me. I had started the process, but also I was becoming a mother. My father had passed, and I was just like, no, scratch that dream. I got to figure something else out. Fast forward to 2021, literally 10 years later. 10 years later, I tell people all the time, don't ever give up on your dream. You just got to understand, trust the process. And if you're a firm believer in God, you have to just continue to keep going on and keep going on. So that's what happened. So when I was talking to my then boyfriend at the time, I said, well, I don't know if this is real, but I'm going to keep going. If they're not asking for blood or money, we just going to keep, going. Right. And then it was, hey, Chef Atoye, we want to interview you. And I was like, oh, okay. So now we're going to interview. So now everything was on Zoom. And then after that first one interview with two casting directors, they were like, "Oh, we have to do a panel interview with 6 people." I was like, "Wait, what?" I was like, "Oh my goodness, I gotta go somewhere." It was like, "No, we're gonna do it everything Zoom." I said, "Okay, okay." So now it's a panel of like 6 producers, and the biggest thing for me was I just gave you who I was, like where I came from, my struggles, my family, my reason why. And my reason why was my dad. You know, my dad is a huge influencer in my life because for him, I had him 0 to 9. And then he went away for 9 years. He came back home when I was 18, walking across the stage, going to from high school. And then he passed away when I was 25. So it was just like, you know, I really didn't get a chance with my dad. I thought I had forever with this man. And I didn't know as a young kid, like as a young child. I mean, I'm still a grown up, but in my mind, I'm like, I got forever with this man. I'm gonna keep doing me, but I didn't. So I had to grow up real fast, and then I found out I was gonna become a mother. So now I was just like, okay, this is so much going on. So I gave them all of that. And then there was radio silence. Like I never heard nothing back from them. I was like, oh, okay, well, I guess nothing's happening. At the time, me and my boyfriend at the time, my husband now, we were quarantined for almost a month and a half because we both had COVID in December. And I'm like, okay, guy, what you trying to do December 21? What are we about to do? So then Hell's Kitchen reached out to me again. Hey, January, we want you to do some tests. We need some blood and what's the name? And I was like, wait, what? I was like, now they're asking for blood, babe. He was like, oh, they not playing. And I was like, huh? He said they not playing. He said they would not invest time if they're asking you for blood. Then I had to do a background check. I had to do an interview with a private investigator. Then I had to do a psyche valve on phone with a psychologist for 4.5 hours, asking 400 questions. And I was just like, wait, what? Wait, what is going on? So then I'm like, babe, I don't know what's going on. So then January 24th, my grandfather passed away. And so I'm like, I get an email from Hell's Kitchen. Hey, welcome to Hell's Kitchen. Get your life together in 2 weeks because you're leaving on February the 1st. And I'm like, wait, what? My oldest daughter's birthday is February the 1st. She's turning 10. And you telling me I got to do what? So it was just like I couldn't go to my grandfather's funeral because I didn't want to be in jeopardy to catching COVID because we had to take a COVID test before we got on the plane. So literally my life was like, wait, hold on. What? Wait, what? And I literally was like, oh my God. Hell, wait, I'm going on Hell's Kitchen. So I tell my boyfriend at the time, mind you, we had just started dating. And I was like, babe, we were just quarantined a month ago. Now I'm going to Hell's Kitchen. He was like, wait, what? So it was a roller coaster. And then you get the email where you got 20,000 pages. You got to sign an NDA. You got to let people know you're going away for months. You got to pay bills for months because you don't know how long you're going to be there. And I'm like, wait, okay. I have to wrap my mind around this. And then to tell my daughter, like I've always been there for birthdays, to leave on her birthday. I'm telling you, it's 2 years later and I have never lived that conversation down. Never lived that conversation down. But the biggest conversation for me was, baby girl, mommy's not going away just to party. Mommy's going away for work. Like we're going to work. And this is a well syndicated show where we don't know what's going to happen. But mommy has this once of a lifetime opportunity. And this is what she's going to do. And it's been amazing. Truly amazing. Crazy, yes, but amazing.
Crazy. Well, Chef, that's the awesome story. I love hearing like the backgrounds of how stuff is moving. Once you're there, though, from a TV perspective, we see these things like, oh my God. First of all, like y'all never sleep. You're always cooking and you just running from one thing to the next. What was a day like once you got to the kitchen or to the system? What was that like?
So you guys don't see like the background. Like you guys see a day, but that's 6 days a week we worked. We had one day off. We had no sense of time because it was like a clock. But what do we have to compare that to? They take everything from you. You have no phone. You have no contact with your family. So they take all of that away from you. I've never been away from my children. I've never been away from my children.
You see
And I
that a
mean, I
lot. You
haven't,
see
no,
people
so like,
struggle
let me
with that
scratch that.
part.
So I have been away from my children, but I've always had contact with my kids. But this was away with no contact. They took that away. For the first couple of weeks, we were quarantined and we could talk to our family. But once we're on set, no. Everything is through producers. There is no conversation with your family. It was a, hey, this is what your family says. Read the email. This is what tell me what you want me to tell your family. So people don't understand. Like you see what you see on TV, but get all that taken away from you and be in a room with 17 other people that you know nothing about. 2 toilets and 3 showers.
Whoa.
What? Say what? I'm like, wait a minute. And it was only like maybe 4 parents out of 18 people. I'm like, wait, y'all got to clean up. Wait a minute. Wait, what? Wait, y'all don't clean up after yourself? Wait, hold up.
Wow.
I'm a mother. What you doing? You wash your hands? Like, so it's, to be in that space was like very overwhelming. It was like a college setting. It was really like giving the college vibes, like understanding what the college vibes is.
So now into the competitions and stuff. So you're basically 6 days a week. Now, how long were you? I mean, you're there. I know some people there at the end. How long is the shoot?
It's 24 hours. Like we're filming all day, every day. And it's just like there's no breaks. Like you guys see the edited version of what I like literally, I tell people all the time, what you guys see maybe 15 minutes of our life. It's like literally 15 minutes of what you guys see, but we have 24 hours of film. So when we see it, it's just like, dang, that's what y'all got out of all that day. Wait, what? But it's very intense. So what you guys see is maybe a hint of what we've done. When it comes to like, you guys see it chopped up. Like those are all day. That's an all day event. Like that is going winning this and doing dinner service. Like that's everything. So to see everything when we see it edited, it's like, wow, that's amazing. Like when you see me crying, like you don't see why I'm crying. You didn't see why I burnt my hand. When I went to elimination, I had my whole right hand wrapped up because I literally scorched my knuckles, and I was crying because I went to the EMTs and I had burned my chest. My bra had retained heat from the wire. So it's just like, you guys don't understand like all the components to the show. And it's okay because I know what I lived and this is reality. And I understand that they have to make it for TV purposes.
Sure.
But to understand that we are all chefs. It's not like we went in there with the rule book for Hell's Kitchen. We didn't. We got their recipe books and was like, hey, y'all got 5 hours to get all this stuff in, and we got dinner service in 20 minutes. So get yourself together, remember what you know, and then you don't even know what station you on. So you literally have to go through every recipe because you don't know what station you're going to be on. They only give you that once you get out in the kitchen. So you have to literally look at that book. So you guys see our first night and you calling us everything under the sun because we really don't know what we're doing. But if you know how to cook, and that's the thing that I tell people all the time, Chef Ramsay has a lot of shows. You got Hell's Kitchen, Next Level Chef just came out maybe 4 years ago. Hell's Kitchen's in 22 seasons. So Hell's Kitchen was way before Next Level Chef. So there's a hierarchy in those shows. So understanding that you have Master Chef are home cooks trying to be chef, aspiring to be chefs. Okay. So you got Next Level Chef where you have chefs that are, hey, maybe in the industry, but there's not a huge, it's different kind of criteria for those guys. It's a different level of competition. But you got Hell's Kitchen where you're literally in a restaurant setting. Next Level Chef is not a restaurant setting. So if people haven't been in restaurant setting, it's not like going to Olive Garden or going to your Applebee's or your Long John Silver's or your anything else. When you walk into the past, you got to continue to talk to the person that's on the stations that have what you need for the past. It's not sitting under a woman. It's going from that pan to Chef Ramsay to plating and to your table. So it's all about it's all about communication and consistency. That's the huge part that people need to understand. This show, we are really cooking our asses off right now. So people have to understand that. Like, it's so many different opinions about the show, but until you've been in that environment, you don't know what that looks like.
Chef, I just want to know, how hard is it to cook the risotto and that lamb to come out right? Because that joint ain't never ever right. It's always like cold raw. This is raw. How difficult is it? I want to know. I want to know.
So the funny part is my first episode. I was at the bottom because the signature dish that I cooked for Chef, it was too hot, Caribbean, whatever. And I was on a station with the young lady that was cooking. Sandra was cooking meats. So y'all didn't see all of that. She cooked. I had Wellington and lamb. All my lambs and my Wellington was perfect. And people don't understand. Chef puts you on stations to see how you succeed in those stations. She had chicken and she had steak. And I had Wellington and lamb. Everything came and was rolling. And that one lamb, it's not that hard. People don't understand. So when you work, so those aisles are different. It's not like your kitchen. So the aisles that's at Chef Ramsay are French aisles. Those are pumping at literally between 600 and 800 degrees at all times. So it takes 7 minutes to cook risotto. 7 minutes. Your lamb is not going to be there because you're baking it first. You're dusting it with your dukkha and your yogurt and all that. And then you're putting it in the oven. It should only take 12 minutes on 400 degrees. So when you're doing that, but you got to make sure you set your time. You got to make sure. And when you have the elevation of so much going on, you got to make sure you listen to what Chef's saying because you don't have tickets in front of you. He's telling you what those tickets are. So you got to know how many lambs you're cooking. You got to know how many, because now you're doing dinner service. You got to let your appetizers and stuff go. That's done. Appetizers done. Now we on entrees. So when he called out the lamb, boom, he already know how long it take for lamb. So he going to get them other entrees out. But if it's all collective to a table, he going to tell you before to let you know, I need 10 minutes for lamb. Cool. If I need 10 minutes for lamb, you get the steak out. The steak going to take how long? Okay. So when you get your temperatures together, it's all about communication. If you're on the same team, you should be able to communicate with each other. So your risotto is still going to go, but it depends on what table that is. But it's all about communication. Your risotto going to go first because that's 7 minutes. You want to do that, but you got to also poach your lobster to go with the risotto. So now you're doing the appetizer station, your fish station because you got your lobster. So you ain't gotta worry about meat right now because meat gonna take longer. So as long as everybody's communicating together, it's gonna be a well-sanctioned unity. But if they're not, if we're not together as a collective, it ain't gonna work.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, the competition part, and you put add pressure to anything, and it just
Yeah.
takes it to a whole nother level. You almost forget how to walk if you if you're not
You
doing it
do.
together.
You know, you
It's
doubt
crazy.
yourself. You're like, wait a
Hmm.
minute, I do know how to cook steak. But then you got the pressure of Chef Ramsay, like, wait a minute. But it's all about your mindset. He wants you to be confident in what you say to him. It's going to take that long. Okay. If you mess it up, why you mess it up? You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And if you tell me ahead of time, okay, if you need more time, why do you need more time? If I told you ahead of time that I need this, then okay. But if you don't communicate, that's when he like, okay, so I got everything else because you told me it's going to take 10 minutes,
Hmm.
but I got everything here, but you never told me, hey, chef, I need a remake. Now I'm sending half the order to the table. Why? It's all about communication.
That's great. So, what was your toughest challenge? I mean, some of them hilarious. I think they try really hard to make it funny, whatever. But Chef, what was your toughest challenge?
My toughest challenge is when we had to delegate, and me and Carmen and I got into our debacle. Because I had the easiest dish, something I make all the time is fried rice. I make sure fried rice for my kids, and
She did
I
not want
did
to.
it,
She did not want to listen. Go ahead.
and she didn't. And I was cool host, so you know what I'm saying. Renisha was, she had her altercation with Carmen, but then I had came to my tipping point because, as you can see, neither one of us got a point for that episode. Neither
Hmm.
one of our dishes. Why? Because she wanted to be over top. She wanted, instead of her actually looking at what was going on, she didn't even talk. She wasn't even thinking. She was literally solely thinking about her dish, that she wasn't even looking at Sandra as she was composing all the dishes. So that's what actually put me on the tipper, because I only had 5 minutes. I couldn't do nothing. How can I
Hmm.
cook shrimp and plate in 5 minutes? I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that. I could not get a great product out to chef because why? My dish was already ruined. It was
Hmm.
already ruined. So that's when I was pissed. So at this time, that's when my real, because I mean, I'm not the type of person to just all that yelling explode. That don't do nothing. You know what I'm saying? To me, that's nothing to me. I have my work shows in who I am as a person, and
Hmm.
my work ethic. I don't need to be seen. I don't need all that because, as you can see throughout the show, in the beginning of the show, I wasn't even shown that much. But then
Right.
when I had my highlights, I had my highlights because I did very well on that show. I was
Hmm.
top 9. Chef Ramsay took me from the girls team and put me on the boys team. I had 2 jackets. So that blue jacket was also my black jacket for me. No, I didn't get a black jacket, but I
Right.
had the opportunity to wear a blue jacket and a black jacket. That doesn't happen a lot.
It doesn't.
It doesn't
I
happen a
like
lot. And if
I like
people,
it when they switch the teams and it felt like, and again, I know they do it for the drama. They actually drama keeps. One of them dudes should have been gone a long time ago. He actually is a good chef, but he's drama, and he keeps him on there. And I was like, dang, this dude keeps surviving. Like every show, he's up on the chopping block. Like, dude, you
yeah,
gotta go. You gotta go.
yeah. And it's just like you got to understand. So what I told my fellow castmates, there's a difference between cooks, workers. No, sorry. Let me tell you. Let me rewind that. There's a difference between workers and entrepreneurs.
Mm.
Okay,
Speak to it. Speak to
understand
it.
that. No, I did not win the show, but I won a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I won so much more. I'm okay with not winning the grand prize of $250,000 in 2 years working at Chef Ramsay restaurant, because guess what? That's not who I am. I'm not a worker.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? So Chef Ramsay show, people don't understand. You get so close-minded with the notion of, oh my God, you didn't win. And then when the people saw the show, oh my God, Atoye, you didn't win. But see, you don't understand what that means. I'm on a syndicated show that's archived in the world forever. You can go
Mm-hmm.
on Hulu and watch that show forever and see me.
Mm-hmm.
You can see me. We can't see you, but we can see me. And
Right.
guess what? I'm top 9. So you gonna forever see that blonde wig. But at the end of the day, I won. Because guess what? People see me. That was actually I'm gonna say this on your show. That if you look at the Hell's Kitchen in its entirety in 22 years, that was the blackest cast we ever had.
Girl, when I've seen them, I was impressed.
But understand this, people don't understand. There's no black contenders in the top. But understand this. What did you get from the show? You have to use this platform to push yourself up.
Right.
Don't worry about what somebody gonna do for you. What are you gonna do for you? You know what I'm saying? You have to use the platform just like they used us. Because we were used. just think about it. We were used for the show. You know what I'm saying? They edited the show the way they wanted to because we signed a contract. We signed an NDA. We don't know what they was going to show, but that was what we were under. That's the contract that we was under. But understand this. I'm going to use this to my benefit as well. Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, I'm a business owner. You can look at me, Hell's Kitchen top contestant, top 9. You know what I'm saying? So people don't understand there's a lot of different ways that you can catapult yourself in your career. You don't have to be the winner. You are the winner because you were actually on the show. You still a winner.
It's still a winner. And that's I watched other shows like Shark Tank or whatever, and they didn't get the funding, but somehow or another they go get the funding. So because not because it didn't work for none of them, and they know it, but for the rest of the million people who watch it, there's somebody out there that says, you know what, I'm gonna invest in that. And they make it work.
There you go.
So it's about the exposure.
Exactly. It's about the exposure. And the thing is, you have to learn how to that's what this. Me and my husband were just talking about this. That's what the United States is. It's a big business. We all in here to make money. You just got to be smart enough to know how to make the money.
Absolutely. So let's move forward to when you didn't belong no more and you had to go. What went through your mind? I know we just talked about how you feel like you won, but in that moment when you had to turn that jacket and hit that door, what was going through your mind?
I was ready to go. I was mentally and physically drained because this was every day, y'all. Like 6 days a week, 24 hours a day. We live with our mics. As y'all can see, there was 24-hour access to us. There was cameras in our rooms, cameras in the bathroom. How can you live like that? I've never lived like that in my life. You know what I'm saying? So in my brain, I was like, you know what? I didn't even realize. So when I got to the boys team, I said, God, you already did me a blessing because I came in here not knowing where I was going to go. My husband at the time, my boyfriend, he was like, you better not be the first person to go home. And I was like, you right. You right. I bet not be. And from the first show, I don't know if y'all remember, Chef Ramsay told me, I bet not ever see you back here at the bottom. And you never did until I was at the top 9.
Right.
You never saw me back at the bottom. You never see me nominated again. Because guess what? That man told me, you're better than this. As the world can see, when I had the explosion with Carmen, let me tell you, when he called us called me to the office first, I was like, oh shit. Let me tell you, and let me just say it like this. When they replayed it on TV, they didn't leave nothing out because everything that happened is what happened. Everything that I said is what I said. And I did not know that they were going to replay everything. And it was raw. It was who I was because I was pissed. I was frustrated. And I'm like, that's not how I work. I don't work with women. I don't do well with women. I've been in the kitchen for 20 years. And I probably worked with 2 women in my life in the kitchen. I don't do the cattiness. I don't do the back door. I don't do the, I don't do that. So all that other stuff, I was trying to get familiar. I'm like, wait, what? What are we doing? Wait, what? You said what? Come on, man. That's not how we do. But when he literally said Chef Atoye to the office, and I gave it to him, and he said, "What's that face for?" Because I'm pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm pissed. Like, how you gonna have unity when you got all these different people? You got all these chiefs, and nobody want to be an Indian. Like, come on. Like, understand this. You want all of us to. How you gonna have one person in the kitchen, but you got 12 people trying to talk to her, but one person don't even want to listen and just stop for one. Take a breath. Let somebody else talk. You know what I'm saying? So that moment, I was like, nah, I can't. So the moment that I was on the boys' team, and then Chef, I had the crying moment, and he pulled me in the back pantry. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh shit, here we go again. But this 6-foot man was literally looking at me like, I know you better in this competition, and you are what? And so that conversation meant so much to me, because that was, so y'all saw maybe like 5 seconds of that, but that was a longer conversation. But it, like he said, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. And the biggest thing was, as y'all can see, I finished that whole service. I went back to service, cooked everything, nothing came back. But at that moment, I was tired. I told Demir, when I went back there with the boys, I said, please nominate me. I'm okay with that. I don't want you to feel no type of way. You can nominate me, and I'm okay with that, because I'm ready to go. You know what I'm saying? Because at that time, I'm top 9. I'm coming back. You know what I'm saying? If you watch the show, I'm coming back.
Right.
And it was just knowing that I've come a long way, and I beat out myself and my odds when I said, I thought I did better than I ever expected myself coming in here. So it was good. It was okay. I was okay with that. I was okay with going home. And when Chef Ramsay looked at me, he gave my jacket. He didn't call me an idiot sandwich. You know, he was like, Atoye, give me your jacket. Keep your head up high. I know those girls at home are very proud of you. Yep. And when I went home and he burned up my picture, he said she had passion, but I need more. And that was okay.
That's what's up. I'm reliving, like, yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh no, Atoye, not you, not now.
I know.
Oh, she about to choke slap this girl. Oh
I
no,
know.
Maryland, it's about to go down. Oh no. Now I found out you from DC. Oh, it was about to go down.
But wait, so many people were like, oh snap, the DC about to come out of
DC
her.
was coming through. Here comes.
It was like Prince George's County about to come out of Atoye. I was like, wait a minute.
She done tighten up that bandana, turn on her go-go, and it was about to go in. I know that's right. Well, Chef, go ahead, Chef. Go ahead.
But I knew that, one, I wasn't going to do that, because I wasn't going to give them that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a professional at all costs. I'm not going to give myself away for the camera. I never did. I never will do that. Never will. I was professional. I said my piece. I cursed her out. I said my stuff face to face, and that's my thing. Like, I'm not going to talk about you behind your back. I'm going to give it to you to your face. You know what I'm saying? Because I have nothing to hide. And if you doing Bama shit, I'm going to tell you you're doing Bama
shit. That's right. Now, do you keep in contact with any other of the contestants, or y'all, everybody moving on their own way?
Yeah, so we have a little group chat that we have, but I have personal relationships with a couple of the cast members, and we did a podcast, me, Renisha, Jermaine. So we did a couple of those episodes, but yeah, we have Jermaine and I are really close. Demir and I are really close. Like, as you guys saw, Demir was like. Oof. The person he was, but I'm not gonna say he was my person, but he literally pulled me, because when I took everything off, I was ready to go. I was like, I don't care how far I've been. I don't care how long I've been here. I'm ready to go home. I don't even want to talk to y'all no more. But as y'all saw that moment, that was real life. Like I was done. But Demir literally was like, no, you are not going
Yeah.
anywhere. Like,
You
I
was ready
know
you was
you.
ready to go.
Yeah. So him and I had a moment. We shared some moments there. And it was just like, he knew me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and my fight was my fight. And it's different when you become a parent. And it's different when you are leaving a lot of stuff to come to a place to be so vulnerable. You know what I'm saying? So, doing all of that and risking things, it's a lot, and putting some things on the line, and people don't understand that. And I understand some of those young people have, they've been cooking for years, but it's different when you're a parent. And I was a parent of two children, two daughters, and I was a single parent at the time. So knowing that I'm not just here for fun, I'm here for profession. I'm here to be a professional because I have to live outside of Hell's Kitchen. You know what I'm saying? People realize it's a show, but after the show, I still have to be who I am.
So now that the show's over, where is Chef Atoye now? What are you into? I know you told me a couple things when we were at the event with the Zetas, but what are you doing now and where are you headed?
Chef Atoye is everywhere. So my husband is a chef as well. So this
You
has
know what? Hold on,
been
pause. I saw the way that brother moved. I knew he was a chef. I don't know who he was. I said, this brother moves like a chef. But go ahead with your story. Go on.
Yeah, so my husband is a chef as well. So we have been doing, oh my gosh, so much. So we are not tied down to anything. We're private chefs. We actually have an NFL client that we are cooking for every single day. And we are busy. We are
Good.
truly busy. And one thing that we love to talk about all the time is pouring into the children. Something that we do with our daughters. He claims our daughters as well, which is something that's amazing because coming into my life, knowing that moving moving a certain way is knowing that accepting my two daughters as his daughters as well. So he has totally done that, and he has kids as well. So understanding what that is, and it's been amazing. And those two little girls are, oh my gosh, like, I don't force food on them, but they like to cook, they like to bake. So we're pouring into them, and we're pouring into the city. So some things that we do like to do is we like to continue to talk to the youth. So there's a lot of things that Chef Atoye is doing. So I always tell people to always follow me on social media so you can see everything that we're doing. I always like, this is something that 2024 is, I'm getting my face out there more. I've done that. I haven't done that in a while, only because of Hell's Kitchen, and I didn't want to put my face out there too much and announce anything. But now that I am using the platform, I am continuing to catapult in my career. So now that the football season is almost ending, there's a lot of different partnerships and things that we are doing for the 2024 year that are going to be amazing. We have total partnerships with so many different people that it is truly amazing. Cooking classes is something that we're doing as well. I did that before, but we're boosting that a little bit more now. Kids cooking classes is something that we're doing too. So I always tell people to always continue to look out for my social media so you can see. You can always contact me through chefatoye@gmail.com to do events. We're always doing events, social events. We do private dinners in people's homes, which has been amazing for us for over the last couple of this year. Actually, well, it's actually the last 2 years. We come into people's homes, and it doesn't matter how many people is, either it's 1 or 20. We do come into people's homes and do a full service hospitality cooking class or hospitality event. It doesn't matter what you're doing. So we've also been on Channel 45. I have a good contact to do a lot of different things in Baltimore. I don't know what God has got me towards Baltimore. I don't know, but God is sending me that way. But I'm going with it, and I'm truly blessed to have these opportunities and these journeys. I'm not tied down to anything only because God doesn't want me to be tied down. He wants me to live my boisterous life, how I live it, and that is through people. And that's also creating um, different opportunities for people. And that's something that I always love to do because I want kids to understand how food is love,
Mm. Mm-hmm.
and understanding that you have to eat to live and live to eat. That's one thing I do teach my children all the time is that you have to understand where your food comes from. Understanding where your food comes from is how you can live forever. And I tell them all the time there's poverties in different countries, and understand that the United States is a country that has so much that is at our disposal where we don't understand that water is essential more than juice, and
Mm-hmm.
there's lies, and people will literally feed you lies, but you have to do research. So understand, telling my kids that, because the world we live in is social media, so they're fighting and understanding that what you see on social media is not everything that you see. So I'm trying to also not just teach my children, but also teach other children as well. So I know that's going to be something that will be beaten down forever, but that's something that I will continue to do with me and my husband and my children.
Awesome. All right, Chef. I told you at the beginning of this, before we got on, that I have a word of the year, and
Yes.
my word this year is fearless. I'm doing things in spite of fear or fearing
Yes.
less of things I used to be afraid of to keep moving to stay off the bench. Do you have a word of the year? If so, what is it?
Consistency.
Hmm. Okay.
Consistency is key. Um, that's something that I live by because you have to show up and you have to be consistent. And I am consistent. And consistency got me to where I am today because I never gave up on my dream 20 years ago.
Hmm.
And I want people to understand that I looked at a lot of different chefs that were catapulting their career, and I worked with them. I worked for a lot of Michelin star chefs and chefs that are doing wonderful now, and I was their number two.
Hmm.
But now I'm number one. I am number one because I was consistent. I never gave up. So consistency is my word for 2024. Stay consistent.
Awesome, Chef. I appreciate you so much. Energy is amazing. I know you're going to continue to do great things. And you have any big events, I'll let it come out and cover for the magazine. And again,
Yes.
we'll have you in the magazine, do some more interviewing, talking about what's going on, especially when you're talking about moving with the kids and stuff like that. That is definitely in the bailiwick. So thank
Nice.
you so much. And last parting shots. Words of wisdom. You drop so many gems tonight. I'm over here like, let me go in my kitchen and make some pancakes. I mean, what would you want to say? This is your chance to leave your final thoughts with everybody before we end. Go ahead and go.
Um, Never give up. Never give up. It doesn't matter what it looks like in front of you. Just trust and believe. Because if you have a dream, you can't tell it to everybody. That's your dream.
Mm,
Live your dream the way you want to live it. Don't share it. Keep it. That's one thing that I had to learn early in my career. I was so excited about so much that I wanted to do, and I wanted to pull so many people in with me so we can grow together. But sometimes God wants you to know you can't have everybody with you. And so now in my life, it's me.
mm,
You know, I have my husband, yes, but before my husband, it was just me. It was only me.
mm,
And I built those contacts and those relationships with those people, but that is what stayed consistent. But the people that I tried to bring along with me didn't stay consistent. None of those people are with me now. And I say that to say you have to get selfish with yourself. And I had to get selfish with myself. And that's the biggest piece that I have had in the last 2.5 years. And it feels so good because I don't have a circle, I don't have a square, I have a line.
mm,
And that line is me, my husband, and my kids. That's it. Because I don't need nothing else. With
mm.
God and them, that's it. You
Come on
see
now.
me, You see me, we live a quiet life, but it's the best life I can live because that's all I need. I don't need nothing else because God gonna give me everything else.
All right, there's a whole that'll preach, as they say. That's a whole sermon right there. That's a whole sermon right there. I'm gonna just stop because I don't want
Okay.
to do nothing else. Shep, thank you again so much for coming on tonight, and
Thank you.
we will be following you. I'm a fan of
Yay.
you. I'm officially saying I'm a fan of you, and that was the first moment I saw you at the event. I was like, that's somebody special right there. So thank you for the opportunity to come on my platform and share your story and your
Thank you.
passion, and encourage other people to get off their own bench to do
Yeah,
what they want to do in life, right? Permission to
absolutely.
succeed can only be given by you. You have to give it to yourself to go do what you wanted to do. You had to tell a lot of folks no to go do what you need to do. They didn't understand. They don't understand how you move. They don't understand your mindset. And
No.
you got to get comfortable with that being okay
Yeah.
because it's your mindset.
There you
And it's what
go.
God gave you to do. So I
Yep.
appreciate you and your husband and your family. Him stepping
Thank
the
you.
king that he is. He stepped
Thank
into
you.
the gap to be that. So we
Yes.
appreciate you all and thank you so much for joining in.
It is my pleasure, and I thank you so much. And you're right. I'm gonna say this one thing, and I'm gonna leave. You have to be uncomfortable. You have to be comfortable with being uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
because that's where God wants you to be. He don't want you to be comfortable. You was comfortable for years, but now you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. But I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate you, and like I said, nothing happens by chance.
Correct.
God brought us there for a reason, and I
Absolutely.
appreciate being on your show today. It was such an amazing experience for me, and I will be forever open to other interviews and things like that. So just let me know.
Absolutely, Chef. Absolutely. Thank you so much.
My
All right, everybody. There you have it. Yo, my head's spinning. Ah, that was so dope. That's so dope. I love it when I run into people. Listen, when she didn't know, when I asked for the interview, I wasn't talking about next week. I was talking about like right then. Like I'll go live and talk to everybody. Look where I'm at talking to her because I feel that way when I connect with someone. And I'm so glad she came on. So we thank Chef Atoye for coming on. Y'all go follow her. Buy her cookbook that's coming out. I just spoke that. So we just want to know that everything that she's into, that we are going to be following her, supporting her as a community. So there you go. And I'll leave you with this as always, if you can reach your dreams with a step ladder, then they're probably too low. I'm out.